All right. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to the folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Uh, my name is Neerav Shah, and I am a senior solutions architect at AWS. And thank you, StratoStem and team, for inviting us for this immersion day. We love working with you, being an advanced tier partner and helping our customers getting their journey to AWS cloud with a lot of different expertise. So thank you so much for inviting us. So today's session is geared more towards the Microsoft workload and how AWS can help our customers to achieve their goals running their Microsoft workloads on AWS as a platform. So, what is AWS? I think it definitely makes sense to step back and set the stage. A lot of customers will be already using AWS as one of their like one of their key provider. But for some of the new customers, I would like to step back and help them set the stage to what do we mean by AWS? What kind of key value benefits that our customers are able to leverage while using the AWS? So most of the time, customers gets a lot of benefit out of the running and migrating their workload to AWS as a platform. And some of the key benefits are more around like the cost, their elasticity, agility, and I'll quickly walk through some of them in the upcoming slides as well. But AWS as a provider, AWS provides a highly scalable, reliable, most secured, low cost infrastructure platform in the cloud that powers millions of our businesses over 190 plus countries around the world. So I think it makes sense to define like what do we mean by cloud and what do we mean by cloud computing. So the term cloud computing, the way that we define cloud computing refers to the on-demand delivery of the IT resources with pay-as-you-go model. So, so instead of you in traditional way of owning, buying, purchasing, and maintaining your own data centers and servers, now organizations can acquire these technologies such as compute storage, power, or any of their other additional services on a need basis. So it's very similar to like how a customer or consumer would need an electricity in their home, and they flip a switch, and the power company sends the electricity to to their home, and they only have to pay for the amount of time that they probably will be using that electricity. So the term cloud computing refers the way that making these resources available via internet with the pay as you go pricing model. And some of the key advantages why customers choose AWS is because of its more flexible and cost benefit options that it provides to our customer. So we have many breadth and depth of the services, and customers have different options to migrate their workload and choose the right way to more optimize the cost in a way that they can only have to pay for the amount of durations where those applicable resources and services will be used. Instead of having those ideal resources and unused capacities, they still end up acquiring on their own premise environment. Second thing, it's most elastic and the platform that has, and that gives a lot of flexibilities to the developers and builders to not only meet and work with their choice of frameworks and gives them the ability to run their own existing infrastructures on AWS, but also it helps organizations to meet their uh, and customer requirements and be more agile to drive the innovations into the industry to compete with their business other areas. AWS is one of the most secured cloud platform, and security is centric to anything that we do in AWS. We often call security is a job zero at AWS. So we have uh, many more security services built around AWS, and we also have a lot of compliance services, and our services are already compliant with many of the key compliance requirements to help customer meet their end compliance requirements by migrating their workloads to AWS. And then AWS also enables our customers to go global in minutes. So we have a huge footprint across the globe, which enables our customers to migrate their workload and enable them to get to their end users across the globe so easily. So as of today, we still have millions of IT operating systems which are still running with their end of life software from the Microsoft. And this is the areas where AWS can really help you migrate and get your environment to be more secured and on the AWS as a platform. So approximately 70% of like the enterprises on their on-premise applications are still running on the Windows server. And what is happening, and this data is based on the IDC, who has run this statistic some time back. But significant number of on-premise business applications have their end-of-life software. And what happens technically, that opens up a lot of like vulnerabilities and security risk to the organizations. So these customers are not supported by their current vendor, and they are looking for an approach to basically mitigate this risk and migrate to cloud with as little platforming or without increasing any technical that they would have to go through. So AWS supports wide varieties, pretty much virtually any kind of workload that customer can migrate to AWS. And specifically, even like on the Windows side, we have been supporting many Windows Server editions from 2008, 2012, 2017 with base, container, and even like with Windows Server with 2003. So customers have successfully deployed every Microsoft applications available, and that includes different kind of workload, including like Windows Server or their SQL Server, their Enterprise Exchange services, or even like Office workload, SharePoint, Active Directory, or even like their remote desktop services. These are some of the different workloads to just name, but this enables customers to easily migrate to AWS and avoid any kind of security and vulnerabilities that they have to deal with end of life software situations. So why customers choose AWS for their Microsoft workload? Uh, One thing that we often call is there is no compression algorithm for the experience. And when it comes to AWS, we have the most proven 11 plus years of experience running the Microsoft workloads on AWS. And that is probably I think the first one that we started like back in 2006 till 2008, we have been running the Microsoft workload on AWS. And then we have a global reach. What we mean is we have 26 different geographic regions, and I will be briefly talking about what I mean by regions and availability zones. But we have 26 geographical regions, and then those regions have more than 77 different availability zones, and this makes our customers the ability to go to the global reach and help their end customers, but also help them build the most resilient and highly available fault tolerance applications on AWS. We have more than 210 plus compliance certifications, and that helps our customer. For example, if the customer belongs to the HIPAA or healthcare industry, or if they are belongs to the financial industries, our platform has a lot of services which are compliant with HIPAA, SOC, or even different FISMA and different other compliance requirements. So this helps our customers to achieve any of their industry specific compliant requirement easily by migrating their workload and performing additional tasks to get compliant with their end user requirements. Um, and then we have 175 plus different service offering, which are highly integrated with many of our key offering. So customers can have a breadth and depth of the services. They can choose different areas to meet different needs to do more modernizations and innovations on AWS. And then we have price reduction is an ongoing part of our business. So we have reduced our like prices since 2006, and what we like the cost saving that we achieve as a part of our ongoing business, we pass it back to our customers in terms of the cost reductions. So this is part of our common culture. We try to see areas where we can reduce the cost, and that has been happened for more than 80 times since 2006, since we have launched. So this helps our customers to not only be compliant and then do a global reach by leveraging multiple services, but also achieve those goals in a more cost-effective manner. We have briefly touched upon like having 11 plus years experience working specifically on the Microsoft workload. And then just this numbers based on the IDs, just like uh, between 2014 and 2017 of AWS Enterprise, we have seen more than 400% growth. Like while customers and enterprise organizations are using Amazon EC2 for Windows Server on AWS, and that has been a significant growth that we have seen. Why customers are trusting AWS when it comes to running their Microsoft workload. And we have many key customers, including Coca-Cola, Adobe, Autodesk, Capital One, GE. These are some of the names where they have decided and migrated many of their key workloads, such as Exchange, SharePoint, SQL Server, Active Directory, etc., to migrate and trust AWS as one of their provider to run their Microsoft workload. So this is like just some statistics from the IDC. And as you can see, coming to the public cloud provider, AWS carries 57.7% of the of total Windows instance deployed in the public cloud, and these numbers are as of 2017. And then if you see, the second largest provider is far still at 30.9%, and the rest of the market collectively accounted for the remaining percentage, which is like 11.4% of running the Windows instance deployed in the public cloud provider. So these are really significant numbers when it comes to showcase like the ability that AWS as a platform provides to our customers in terms of running the most secured, highly scalable, highly durable, available platform running the Microsoft workload. So this numbers comes from the IDC, but this is really a worth number to showcase like how customers have trusted over the time to run AWS as one of their preferred partner running any of their Microsoft workload. A quick overview about our global reach. So unlike like virtually every other technology provider, AWS has a region, and what we call a region is has a multiple availability zones and data centers. So region AWS region is a global isolated geographical locations where we clusters our data centers, and each of these clusters of data center is known as the availability zone. So every region is going to have minimum two to maximum three availability zones. So our customers can deploy their workload across multiple availability zones to achieve the high resiliency, fault tolerant into their applications. And each of these availability zones are connected with the high performance fiber optic cables, which provides more than 100 gigs of interconnectivity, so that customers can have a very low latency connections between any of their workload in a highly available environments. We have 216 point of presence, which includes like 205 edge locations and 11 different regional caches. And this allows our customers to not only migrate and like provide the low latency meet the low latency requirement for their end user, but it also gives them an ability to have some of the caching requirements to meet to have content closer to their end users. So as we just briefly discussed, a region is comprised of the multiple availability zone. So as you can see, we have a region for here, for example, we have a US East 1 region, and that particular region comprised of multiple availability zones. And each of these availability zones are going to have minimum 2 to maximum 6 of different data centers. And these data centers are highly available, connected, and each of them are physically isolated from each other. So to avoid any kind of disaster that could happen among any particular data centers. And they are completely redundant in terms of the physical locations, the power, or even like they have their own dedicated network to avoid any kind of disaster that could probably happen. So this gives customers ability to easily migrate and make their applications highly available to meet their ongoing customer SLAs and meet their business needs. One of the reason like customers choose AWS is proven security around all the services that we have offered. So AWS has built security and compliance from the ground up, and then giving up customer full fine-grained access controls. So with this access, what we mean is like customers can go as granular as they want to define more granular access within their environment. So for example, customers can decide like if they want to restrict a user to create only a database in a specific region, for example, like just between 3 to 5 p.m. on Monday to Friday, only is a, in particular region, we have abilities to customers to go and define that level of granular access control to secure their workload. Not only that, we have more than 50 different compliance certifications that we have achieved over the time. So our customers in any industries, from the federal industry or from the public sector or the financial industry or the healthcare industries, all of our customers can easily achieve any of their compliance requirement while migrating their workload to AWS. And we have millions of active customers every month. They have been working closely with us and meeting their security requirements, but also work with us towards any of their future requirements that they would like to see on AWS as a platform. So this is just a graph to shows like since 2008 till today and in future as well, how like specifically focus on the Windows and Microsoft side, how AWS has been a key leader in terms of doing the innovations and helping our customers to virtually migrate any Microsoft workload on AWS as a platform. So for example, like starting with 2008, we started helping customers supporting their Microsoft workload for Windows Server from 2003 to 2005, and then later 2008 with R2. And over the time, we have made our platform more robust to have many of the .NET applications or any kind of virtually applications that they would like to run on AWS with their Windows workload. Customer would have an ability to easily migrate and continue leveraging all of the innovations that we have done around the time. We have 90 plus different instance types, which meets customers different diverse requirements in terms of the CPU or memory or processor. And we have 22 different instance families to help customer meet any of their existing on-premise footprint that they would like to match with AWS. We have 40 plus different AMIs for Windows workload that our customers can easily leverage. Those are already pre-built AMIs available for our customers with wide diverse set of package solutions bundled together. So our customers can start leveraging those AMIs. And then we have a huge listing of Windows ISVs on our AWS marketplace. So not only customers can migrate and use any of their existing workload, but they can continue to work with any of their other ISV products that they probably might be using on their on-premise environment. So we have a 750 plus different ISV listing that customers can even choose to leverage those offerings and service from our ISV partners from our marketplace. And then some of the case studies, like how customers have been really successful and in terms of migrating their Windows workload. So, for example, Infor, they spoke on our reInvent, I believe, in 2017, and as per them, they have seen a much stronger performance for their database backup solutions, and at the same time, they were able to achieve at least 75% of the cost saving on their monthly backup cost. So they had different workload that they have migrated to AWS, and they have also leveraged the backup solutions to use AWS to reduce their on-premise storage requirement in a more cost-effective manner by migrating their workload and backups to AWS. Similar to has, they have like the migrations of multiple large Windows system, and that includes like Microsoft SQL Server, SharePoint. They also had Exchange, Active Directory, and they also even have SAP HANA and different workload. So they use a three-phase approach of migrating their different workloads over the time, and this has enabled them to pretty much meet every possible workload and the kind of footprint that they had there on in their on-premise environment to make it up and running in AWS as a platform. And then finally, we have Advert Life Science. They belongs to a life science industry. So they had chosen AWS for their data center work, to migrate their data centers workload, and they also had a significant different Windows footprint with different licensing that they were using on their on-premise, and then they were able to achieve a highly secured security requirements by migrating their workload to AWS with meeting their performance as well as compliance requirement. So for customers that have purchased AWS support at the business or enterprise tier, AWS support is able to work directly with Microsoft Support Engineer to resolve issues related to customer running their Microsoft servers on, or even like SQL servers or Windows desktop on AWS. So as a result of this, like our support agreement, AWS can engage directly with Microsoft to create the best possible support experience for our end customers, and they don't have to worry about getting and contacting their Microsoft supports. And if necessary, our AWS support even can escalate issues directly to Microsoft and work with the dedicated Microsoft support engineer to help ensure the issues are addressed and resolved. So this is one of the key advantage that customers can also get by leveraging AWS as a platform. And we do a lot of support related tasks based on your support level with AWS, working directly with Microsoft. So we talked about like AWS is the only cloud provider to support like different varieties of workload. But the key thing is we are also one of the provider to support 32-bit operating system to help minimize the risk that around the different EOL end of life software compliance requirement. So this helps our customers to focus more on the innovation, and this helped them minimize the risk by not having to worry and about the security vulnerabilities, and they can it can help them improve their security posture with different EOS such as like Windows 2003 or SQL Server 2005, and they can leverage different compliance certifications that we have made available to our customers. And this helps you save money on your existing investment that you have invested as a customers in your on-premise applications or like your Microsoft applications. And we provide different options for customers to bring their on-premise investment to AWS in terms of the licensing. So we have a model like BYOL, which is like bring your own licensing. And we have different hosting options for customers to meet their licensing agreement with Microsoft from their on-premise, and then they can have options to migrate those on AWS to meet different hosting options to still be compliant with the licensing requirements. So We have a couple of options for running Microsoft applications on AWS. Customers can also have options to have a self-managed EC2 instance where they can do a like-to-like environment with their on-premise, and they can run their EC2 Windows servers or like SQL servers and all of the other applications as a dependencies, and they can have an options to manage these environments on their own. So they have full control. They can go deeper and manage every aspect of their Windows servers or SQL servers on a self-managed environments. And this can also help customers to leverage their existing licensing investment that they have made on their on-premise using like bring their own licensing on Windows and SQL servers. But over the time, customers can also have options to go with the managed services, and that can help customers to not have to worry about a lot of the undifferentiated heavy lifting that they traditionally have to do in terms of backup, automations, or security patches. We provide different managed service options such as RDS for the SQL servers, or we even provide the AWS Managed Active Directory service, which is a complete fully managed Microsoft Active Directory service in AWS. So customer does not have to worry about managing any of the underlying infrastructure requirements around the backup, security, patches, or anything. And we make sure all of this managed service are highly available. So we take care of making sure their data is highly durable, it's replicated across multiple availability zone, and in case of any disasters or issues, we make sure their services are highly available across the multiple availability zone. So customer, when it comes to AWS, have different options to meet their current requirements in terms of licensing, or even like going and moving forward with the managed services. Different instance type, just to quickly go over, we provide different families of instance starting to meet any of your customer requirements. They probably would have more compute optimized workload that they are running, or they probably have more memory optimized or storage. So we have different instance families, which gives customers different options to choose the right instance type to run their existing workload in a more cost-effective manner with multiple options to choose. Different purchasing options. So we have mainly 4 different purchasing options that customer can leverage if they have a spiky workloads, or they know the workload varies based on the seasonal pattern. They can leverage the pay for the compute capacity by the seconds. So that means you don't have to occupy these resources upfront, and you only have to pay for the duration when they will be used with no long-term commitment. Or they can even go for the reserved instance where they already know the pattern is something upfront. They already know how much time the resources will be used or workload will be utilizing. Customer can leverage to go with the reserved instance, and that can help customer have a significant cost saving with the upfront commitment from 1 to 3 years. Customer can also leverage the spot instances, which is going to give them cost saving of up to 90%. And this is generally a good options for customers where they can do a bidding for the unused capacity available in AWS and still can run some of the workload that can leverage the spot instances to get at least up to 90% cost saving. And then finally, a savings plan, which is a flexible pricing model that provides up to 72% cost saving on AWS compute usage. And this is really new pricing model which offers lower prices on Amazon, like the EC2 instance usage, and you have flexibility regardless of like your instance family, size, or operating system, or tenancy, or even like across the AWS region. So this gives a lot of flexibilities for customers to even use the saving, but at the same time achieve more flexibility. And then finally, some of the resources that we would like customers to take a look. We have a lot of different boot camps available. We have different licensing options that customers can leverage. and some of the online resources. And we also have our partners like Stratus10 who have gone through a process to acquire some of the Microsoft competencies. So our partner Stratus10 can definitely help you even get some of these trainings and workshops and help you define and help you migrate your workloads on AWS with different workshops and deep dive on your requirements.